48 hours later, and if anything, this whole event just gets weirder by the minute. Why are literal minutes allowed to pass while all the eyewitnesses warn the authorities that the gunman's right there getting in position with seemingly nothing being done about it?
Right there, see him? He's laying down, see him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
Yeah, look, there he is.
Because we have millions and millions
Officer.
of people.
He's on the roof. He's right.
We have people that
Right
should not be
here,
here.
right on the roof.
Milk Bar TV put together this shocking sequence of events, highlighting the almost inconceivably slow response.
If he was doing his job, I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd be at some beautiful place with a gorgeous ocean in the Mediterranean.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look,
And
there he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down, see him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
And still I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a senator
What's happening?
elected and to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look,
And it's
there he
not
is.
easy, because we have millions and millions
Officer.
of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals. We have criminals.
He's
We
on
have
the roof. He's
drug
right.
dealers. We have people that
Right
should not be
here,
here.
right on the
And
roof.
it's much tougher than if it happened.
You went
to be.
right
We have
on the
strongest
roof, big
border
guy.
ever. In recorded history, we're the best border. In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they can do it. Do you guys have access to that chart that I love so much? You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, do you? Because these teleprompters are so damn boring, I try and explain that. Oh, there's a, wow. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time. My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big red arrow, right? So that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that says,
I hope he's turning this way. Be careful, guys.
Again, the snipers are literally trained on the guy, watching him before he takes his first shot. So why are they waiting for him to shoot? When all previous protocol and training dictates that you take him out before he's able to fire. Why does that civilian on a rooftop have a gun? I don't know, let's give him 3 minutes and see what he does.
when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
More and more prominent people are having a really hard time believing this was just incompetence. Former CIA analyst Larry Johnson,
the Secret Service agent who was in charge of setting up security for that venue, failed to do their job, or they were complicit in allowing this assassination attempt to occur. There's no other choice. And let me explain. When you go out and do the pre-site survey as a Secret Service agent, you go around, you put somebody at the podium where Donald Trump is going to stand. And then you move around both inside the venue and then outside the venue to find out where are the potential lines of fire. Once you identify those potential lines of fire, you are then supposed to post armed security personnel there with counter snipers. They didn't do that. And in fact, there are reports, credible reports from bystanders that they warned police that they saw this guy climbing up on the roof and no one did anything. So the Secret Service agents that were inside the venue, they did their job. They moved immediately once the shots started to protect Donald Trump. But the overall officer in charge, and I don't know who that is, but they failed in their job. And it's either incompetence or they were complicit in a plot to have Donald Trump killed. There's no other way to look at it.
There are still so many unanswered questions. One of which is, did Trump request additional security from the Secret Service beforehand? Despite the obvious failures in security, which many have attributed to a lack of manpower, the Secret Service has denied that such a request ever occurred. Thanks to Ground News, I can instantly access every story on it and compare coverage. This looks like a bit of a blind spot for the left, with only 10 out of 68 stories on the issue from publications that lean left. Right-leaning sources like the Daily Caller and the Washington Times are asking hard questions about the Secret Service's failures, while left-wing sources like the Daily Beast are concentrating more on regurgitating the Secret Service's official narrative. Ground News helps me track all this and shine a spotlight on misleading narratives. You can check this out for yourself at ground.news/PJW. The link is down below. If you're a news junkie like me, Ground News is the Rosetta Stone of breaking news and media monitoring. Instead of wasting time wading through scores of different websites, everything is there in one place, helping you stay informed of breaking news developments as they happen. And more importantly, what the media isn't covering, which could lead to blind spots. And yes, they sponsor me, but I actually use their site daily. I've got Ground News bookmarked because it's an invaluable tool in crafting these very videos and the articles you'll find on my website. The Donald Trump interest page is also a great resource for keeping track of key developments, especially given that we're racing towards the US presidential election, which is now only around 16 weeks away. So especially as we get closer to that fateful day, instead of arguing with that crazy uncle of yours, you can use Ground News to show them they might only be getting one side of the story. So it's never been a better time to check out ground.news/PJW or scan the QR code on the screen. They're currently offering my viewers 40% off the Vantage plan, which is the one I use for unlimited access. Crucially, they're independently owned and subscriber funded. Subscribers support their mission to hold the media accountable. So thanks again to Ground News. The Secret Service knew that very rooftop was a vulnerable location before the event.
That the roof where the shooter was located was a well-known, high-priority vulnerability. It was identified just the day before during a security walkthrough. We've also just learned that there were 2 counter-sniper teams on site and that the counter-sniper did not need approval to shoot. One source telling NBC News that prior protocols were not followed.
So how the hell is he allowed to slap a ladder on the side of the building, climb up it, position himself, and then fire on Trump? Now the Secret Service is laying the blame at the feet of local police for not protecting the perimeter. What? The shooter was about 150 yards away, well within the usual Secret Service perimeter, which according to former Secret Service Director Julia Pearson is 1,000 yards.
But here's another thing I'm hearing from sources, that this subject, they had been monitoring him since he came in around that external perimeter area. The subject who was the shooter. They lost track of him apparently, and he was hiding in a building about 300 yards away. Folks, if they had this subject in their on their, say, their radar, that you had a potential threat, I think the questions right now are fairly obvious. Why was President Trump even on stage at that point? He should have not been on stage. It's ridiculous. I mean, if you know you're in a situation with a potential threat out there, just delay the event for a little bit.
The Associated Press reported that Thomas Matthew Crooks was confronted by a police officer on the roof of the building before he launched his attack. The officer then retreated after Crooks pointed a gun at him, and the gunman went on to position himself to shoot Trump. Former Army sniper and current Congressman Corey Mills asked a very basic question. Why wasn't this instantly communicated to the Secret Service and Trump immediately rushed off stage?
And there should have been comms. The minute that local law enforcement, who apparently had a rifle pointed on, there should have been an emergency frequent comms channel that they could have said, we have a shooter on the roof, shooter on the roof. Secret Service should have rushed the stage and immediately took the president and took him off and then responded with the counter sniper. The shot should not have gone off. That is the failure in itself. You're supposed to be able to try, the best security is when you go in and you're actually able to prevent an incident, not react to an incident. You could literally just look, quickly glance, and know from the reference point, whether it be a building, whether it be a lone tree, whether it be a parking lot, maybe it's a road. Bottom line is that this is massive negligence to the point of me speculating on what was intentional and what wasn't.
If the building was identified as a vulnerable location, where was the aerial surveillance? Drones? Helicopters? They've got a $3.2 billion budget, and there's nothing. An eyewitness who attended a previous nearby Trump rally 4 years prior.
Every rooftop of every hangar had 3, 4, 5 guys on top of it with
When
guns.
you say guys, snipers? Law
Yes,
enforcement with long guns on top?
Long guns,
Okay.
yes. And even some of them in the sniper position. Just scanning everywhere.
Expressed his utter shock at the patently lax security on show at Saturday's event.
First thing I did when I got here yesterday was I did a complete look around at every rooftop. And I said to myself, that's strange. I don't see one cop, sniper, nothing. I don't see anything. And I just thought, that was kind of weird.
And why do we know so little about the shooter? This is a 20-year-old guy. Where's his social media footprint? Why can't the much vaunted best minds at the FBI even get into his cell phone?
Official is telling Fox they believe the shooter acted alone. We're also learning that they can't get into his cell phone. They have it at Quantico, but haven't been able to get any data out of it.
Shitlibs are all over him being a registered Republican, despite it being a widely recognised stunt to register as a Republican and then vote Democrat. While some speculated he did so to vote for Nikki Haley in the GOP primary, he reportedly donated to left-wing groups, weirdly appeared in a commercial for BlackRock, and according to a former schoolmate, may have been a COVIDian.
He would always wear a mask, even after COVID. He wore a mask. Like a COVID mask, like even after COVID was over and all that.
Yeah, I don't recall that many die-hard Republicans being into wearing COVID masks, do you? People are also asking questions about this woman in the crowd's reaction to the shooting, suggesting she was expecting it, smirking, and was more concerned about filming it than her own safety.
Watch this shit, dude. Watch. Watch. She sits down. Yep. Watch this. Puts the sign up.
Take a look at what happened.
Shots go off.
She's completely normal. And then watch.
And then she's got her.
What the fuck? What the fuck? People are freaking out.
And she's filming.
And she's just like right there. She's not even freaking the fuck.
Yeah, I find that pretty hard to believe. You really think she'd be that confident in some 20-year-old loser who can't even shoot straight, not hitting her? People have some very odd reactions to scary situations, and they've been hardwired to whip out their phones when anything unusual starts to occur. We haven't received any satisfactory answers to any of the major questions. But don't worry, the FBI's hot on it. As soon as they manage to figure out the gunman's iPhone password. What are the biggest unanswered questions for you? Let me know in the comments down below. If you value what I do and you want to help support me, please visit pauljosephwatson.locals.com and either pledge a one-time donation or subscribe to join my community, get early access videos, and message me directly. And exclusive live streams coming soon too. Promise. Check out the Locals link down in the description. And don't forget to take a look at the brand new website, modernity.news. That's where you'll find all my content, including exclusive articles. That's modernity.news.